Okay. Let's see, did I do the other thing? I might not have done the other thing. No, I didn't. I forget that sometimes. That's me, always forgetting to do the things and the stuffs. About 90% of the time. I try to remember. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Alright, we're just gonna give it a few moments here. Alright, so for those that are new, don't forget, I'm not playing music anymore on the channel because I don't want to get my ass in trouble. So feel free to fire up whatever music you choose to listen to, and put that on in the background. You don't have to, that's up to you. There will be a little extra traffic noise today. We have the window open because it's kind of warm. It's never been this warm for Christmas here. It is 74 currently, so if we had the window closed, it would be hot as balls in here. So I'd rather not be quite that warm. Alright, so we're going to try needle felting. I did do sort of a crazy ass attempt at one project already. I learned a few things. Learned how I want to approach this now. This one's a little messy because I was rushing a little bit. So I had some stencils that I was using to kind of lay out everything. So it didn't come out too terrible. Not for the first time. So it's a little uneven. That was my fault because of how I cut it. And these squares are 5 by 5. Which is an odd frame size. So I'm gonna try, and I'd like cut it like right on the edge. So yeah, we're gonna try something a little different where I'm gonna lay it out. I'm gonna lay out 2 squares. So I just have it pinned so it doesn't move while I'm doing this. I'm gonna do like a 5 by 5. But then I'm gonna do an interior as I move the damn thing. But then I'm gonna sort of try to do an interior. That's our square from the other week. An interior 4 by 4 because most frames are. It's a lot easier to find a 4 by 4 than it is a 5 by 5 in my experience. So really, plastic? Well, I have scissors. Like, I should probably just, use the scissors. Probably be the most productive idea. You somewhere to the side. Alright. This is just a 4 by 4 canvas. So we're going to be pretty small here. You don't have to go this small. I'm just going small today because they do take a bit of time to do. And we might not even finish this guy today. I'm not sure. My pen's even working here. So this is just for me so that I will have an easier time. Let's see, did that mark? Okay. Okay, you wouldn't have to necessarily go to that step. I'm just doing that so I can have a better idea of where I need to go, and so it doesn't matter if, you know, my lines are a little too wonky, because this outer edge is gonna get cut down and we'll be good. So that way I can cut it down to fit my frame if I need to, but this is the area that I want to be in the middle of the frame. You know, kind of what I mean? I'm gonna end up going over the edges, and that's fine. It's gonna happen. Alright, so I'm done with my pins. I'm gonna tuck them back into my box of tools here. Alright. Let's pull out our tools of doom. Yeah, tools of doom. And I mean, I've got those scissors. I've got all kinds of scissors. Okay. And sorry for the extra shitty voice. The window was open all night, so extra shitty voice combined with I haven't been up that long, and we're gonna have some voice ickiness. That's just how that's gonna be. So I've got a whole huge bag of floof. I don't even know all the colors in here because I haven't even pulled them all out yet. But yeah, so our bottom picture here in the corner is sort of going to be our referencey photo. So let's see here. And you know, we don't have to be dead on to the photo. We can kind of go with whatever colors that we really want to substitute in. I think we got multiples of this. No, that's a different color too. Well, let's figure out what color we want to be our background. I think I'm gonna have to get a container from under my desk. If I can reach it. Can I reach it? I don't know if I can. Let me see. My foot might have to grab it here. Yeah, well, there's all my easels, so. Oh. Oh, that's full of cat hair. Oh, that's gross. Okay. That's alright. It will do for now. Because it sounded like something fell and I don't know what. Alright. We will start to pull these guys out and at least temporarily put them in this box. I have to get another box just for this stuff, I think. We were gonna possibly go to the dollar store sometime this week, or Dollar Tree. It's not gonna be a dollar store anymore. So that's sad. Yeah, those are the duplicate colors. Okay. I'm not entirely mad about that. That's fine. So we're just gonna. Oh no, that escaped. Oh no. Some of them are escaping their bags. These little tiny bags are so hard to close. So I'm not mad about them escaping the bag, because I tried to close the bag after opening one, and oh my god. They did not want to go back in. Let me tell you. Did not want to stay closed. Alright, so let's get all of our floof out. I think I got a pack of 100. I don't know. It was a good number. Because I wanted fluff to play with. This is just wool roving. I got like a multi-pack off of Amazon. I was gonna buy wow, voice. Holy shit. I have an empty bag. Empty bag? Do we have floof without a home? Alright, well, we'll put that to the side. I was gonna get, like, one of the kits that came with a little bit of floof, a little bit of, you know, some tools and stuff. But then I was looking at everything that was in the kit. And I was like, well, wait a minute. Back up. Beep, beep. Back up. Because it came with, like, eyeballs and, like, keychain doodles, fixtures, and I'm like, well, wait. Most people that needle felt make the little figurine things. And, I'm not gonna be doing the figurine things. No, we didn't have a homeless floof. Okay, we just have an extra bag. That's fine. Our pile of floof. Where's the one that got away? Was it just that one that got away? I thought it was a green one. This is blue. Oh, I guess it was the blue one. Okay. So I was like, hold up. We don't really need everything in this kit. Like, this is silly to buy a kit that, okay, so there are all kinds of duplicate colors in here. Not all of them are duplicates, but some of them. It's like, that's crazy to buy a kit with a bunch of colors, or a bunch of shit that I'm not going to use, right? That seems kind of, like, wasteful. So I ended up looking at everything that came in the kit, decided what I wanted, and then searched for those individual, and here we are. I think it was a little bit cheaper. So we have our little finger protectors. Definitely putting these bitches on, if I can get them on. They're very snug on my chubby fingers, so kind of have to shove them guys on there. That's the hardest part of this, is getting these guys put on. Ugh. Okay. Fingers are protected. I can't type with these on though, so when people start messaging me and I've got them on my fingers, I'm like, fuck. I'm like trying to hunt and peck at my keyboard because I'm like, oh, I can't type. Alright, so still haven't figured out what our background color is gonna be. I mean, it's not like paint where we can just like add white to stuff to lighten the shades, so have to kind of figure this out here. I think we're gonna go with this one for the background color. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, we could go with this one for backgrounds, and then have that be like the light color in the middle. Because then we've got kind of these darky clouds that are kind of playing around in there. Could go with that. Alright, so... Oh, and husband got a mechanical keyboard, so you might hear him typing a lot louder. So I apologize. There's nothing I can do about that.
Actually, you know what? Let me hop in your screen. Let me test that.
Because I can't do much about husband. So, because it sounds very loud in my ears, but I also have my earbuds in, and I don't know if that's why it suddenly sounds so loud, because I don't have any other noise in the background to drown it out. But we will see. We will see. So they come in these like little.
Yes, it is a hearable click.
Yes, I told you it was. Your other keyboard came through too, even if you don't want to admit it, but it did. All right, so we have two different tools. We have this guy, whom I have to. His needle just kind of flips around a bit for his holder. So that's one of them. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's little tiny notches in the needle. I don't think it's going to come through. I don't know if it will focus. on that. So yeah, it's a manual focus camera. I'll just tell you. There's little tiny notches in the needle that you can see with your eye. It's to help get the fibers down into the felt. So I am working on a solid felt mat. That I have all kinds of roving stuck to already. There's different mats you can get. There's foam ones, and there are ones that kind of look like an old hairbrush. The old hairbrushy ones are probably the easiest ones to remove the project from. Those ones come very small though, and I didn't want to be restricted to just that size. I mean, they were smaller than this. They were like inside this square small, not even that big. I mean, they might come bigger, but they're probably also a shit ton more expensive. And we have this guy of doom. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, this is an 8 needle job. One of them on here came slightly bent on this one. I didn't do that. That came that way. I don't know if we're going to be using this guy. This guy makes it go a lot faster. He's like Needle of Doom. But I also have trouble shoving this one in. This one's a lot easier for me, so I have to keep an eye on that. So the foam ones, like this one came with a foam block in it. So if you're doing it over foam, if you have earbuds on, I'm going to apologize right now. You might want to turn the sound down a little bit. In 3, 2, 1. That's what you're going to hear if you do it over the foam pads. And I had a feeling that's what I was going to hear if I did it over, if I got the foam pad. And I'm like, oh, that's going to drive Russell insane. So I got the felt pad. Now when you do it on the felt pad, much softer, much gentler. So I am going to wrap this guy up in here just so I can keep track of him temporarily. Alright, so like I said, we're going to work on the inside square. The outside square was just so that I have room to trim when the time comes. Now this is your floof, and I know you're going to think that doesn't look like very much floof, and it's probably not that very much floof. But it's okay. I'm going to separate it out. And I've heard from some people, they say you can actually like take yarn and use yarn as well. I think you might have to like unravel it and comb it out so it's not like the tight little strands. You might be able to do the tight little strands too if that's like the look that you're going for. Oh, right. So I am working on a dark green because that's the color that I had started with on the other project, and I didn't want to waste the felt. So I didn't want like 5,000 different colors of little felts around. So you basically grab your tool and you lay out where you want your color to live, and you just start poking through it. And it will put it in. Now if you're using a background color that doesn't quite go with the project that you're working on, you might have to do a couple different layers. But you're just gonna tap. You kind of want to go straight up and down. You don't want to go in at an angle because then that'll make your needle bend, from what I've learned so far from the videos that I've seen. So I figured today, or at least with our first time with this, we'll start out doing something. Now this reference photo is from Unsplash. Yes, this one is from Unsplash. I don't remember the photographer. I think it's from Unsplash. It's either from Unsplash or Facebook. But there's no way I'm gonna fucking copy that thing for thing, so I am not that good. So, I mean, that's with this one. Now, it will kind of stick itself because, I mean, you're pushing the fibers through. So it will kind of feel stuck or velcroed to the bottom piece. I mean, you can just kind of pull it up gently. And then that'll take care of that. I'm going to grab the big guy just to show you how the big guy goes. So we will start to... It's kind of hard to use the big guy when you're not, when you don't have a lot of the stuff down. Like if I had like everything down and the needles were hitting every single spot, that would be a little bit easier. But I, for some reason, have trouble pushing the big guy all the way through into the pad. So... And now because we've got those little ridges there and I pulled it up, it's going to be a little bumpy here. Alright. We do have incense going, but I've got wax melts now that are sort of in the scent of the smoky ones, but it said it was supposed to be in that scent. But it's not. It's a different scent, or vaguely different. But it smells similar to a scent that we always had around Christmas when I was little. My mom had this fucking carved lion that had a little lamb with it that was kind of like a yellowish color, or maybe like a cream. It turned yellow over the years, and this wax melt version of the burny, flamey, smoky stick version smells like that lion and lamb did. My mom's like, I had that for 20 some years. It was from Avon. And it still smelled. I think it vanished when they lost the house because they didn't think to save it. It was in pretty rough condition anyway, but I saw a photo of it on eBay.
Decades of being sniffed.
Huh?
Decades of being sniffed obsessively.
Yeah, like it would smell so good. And it finally hit me because when I started to burn this one or melt this one, I'm like, it doesn't smell like the incense stick, but it smells familiar. I'm like, what the fuck is that smell? And then I remembered, it hit me that it smells like this damn lion that she would bring out every Christmas. And I loved the smell so much that I would just sit there and I would pull it out outside of Christmas just to smell it. She'd be like, what are you doing? And the whole interior of the cabinet she kept it in just smelled of that. Alright, so you're basically just kind of, marrying the fibers together. That's what all the little notches in the needle do, from my understanding of it. And see, we're definitely need to add a second layer there. And then, we'll clean up the outside edge later. That's not a big deal. Is this the section I trimmed off? I know I cut a piece off. I guess so. Part of me doesn't feel like that's it though, but okay. So, yeah, we'll just kind of add this in as we go down and darken it where we want to darken it. Now, when you do this, I highly recommend you get these things. Oh, I've got ink all over my fingers. That's okay. So I highly recommend this. These are little leather finger protectors, so you don't hurt yourself too badly. And try to keep the fingers that have the protectors on them where the needle is, like not under the needle, but if it's gonna hit something, let it hit the protectors instead of your skin, because that's gonna hurt with all the little notches in the needle if it hits your finger. My needle looks like it's at a weird angle there, but I think it's just the way it is in the holder. The needle itself doesn't look bent, but this is just more or less a handle to hold on to, because if you don't have it in the handle, it came with extra needles. If you don't have it in the needle, it has this tiny little like cane, like L-shaped thingy that you would have to hold it by, and that's gonna start to make your fingers sore after a while. So the handles definitely will save your fingers from unnecessary ouchness, shall we say. What did you message me?
Picture of your thing and see if you're happy with it.
Oh, okay. Oh, I lost my footstool. It moved when I went to grab the thing. Okay, so hang on. Let me check what the husband has sent me. Yes.
You're happy with it?
Yes.
Alright, then that should be the image.
Alright, can I have that without the text as well?
Oh, yeah.
That we had talked about, so I can put that on the banners elsewhere?
Yeah, no, that's no problem.
Okay. So your husband was working on new channel art for us. Okay. I like to work at an angle. I always have, but then stuff doesn't come out straight. So my lines serve a dual purpose. And this is a slower project, and I am okay with that. I mean, like I said, if I really wanted to speed it up, I could go with the multi-needles of doom. But I'm not trying to rush through. I'm actually kind of enjoying this a bit. And I kind of like the smaller needle anyway. It goes through, it goes in a lot easier for me. Alright, I'm gonna tilt this just a little bit. Like I said, I'm leaving this extra buffer around the edge so that I can clean it up to fit the 4x4 frame when I get it. I was pricing frames the other day, and god damn, they're expensive. I was actually pricing embroidery hoops last night off of Walmart. I'm gonna have to check Amazon. They were expensive? I guess the price of embroidery hoops has just gone up. I'll have to check Joann's too. Cause like, of course I'm remembering prices from how long ago when I worked in the craft store. So I mean, it could just be that they've gone up, but I remember them being like $2 for the big ones. And I'm like, $12 for 6? I mean, I guess that would be $2 a piece, but these were the tiny ones that should have been like 50 cents. I was like, it just seemed a little high. For like the 3 or 4 inch ones, because I was like, oh, you know, we could, embroidery hoops might be cheaper to display them in than, and these were unfinished embroidery hoops. They weren't fancy plastic ones. They were unfinished wood. I was like, well, you know, embroidery hoops will probably be cheaper than words than a frame. Apparently not. Apparently not. Husband's over there clicking away. Clicky, clicky, clicky. His new nickname is going to be Click Clack. So, I think he's talking to our friend Tyler. I'm not sure if Tyler's working today or not. Must be on break if he is. He probably should be. They are sorting out D&D stuff because they had put the game that they were working on hold till after the holidays, but husband's trying to get a D&D game sorted out on paper that he's been working on for quite some time. Alright, so like I said, right now I'm just kind of working on getting our base coloring down. We can always come back in if we think a spot's a little thin or the green is showing through a little too much and add some more on top. Although I think oddly enough that might be the only shade of that color that we've got that's even close to it. But that's okay because I have some cash that I got for Christmas that I can get more shades if we run out. So not a huge deal. Not a huge deal at all. Alright, so yeah, like I said, try to make sure that you're going straight up and down and not in at an angle. Because the in at an angle will damage the needles faster. And while I have a whole bunch of extras, I'd rather not burn through them. I'm not even sure what size this is. This might be a small. So I'm sure if I went with a larger gauge needle, it would also go a little bit faster. But again, I don't care that this is going slow. And I have all sorts of ideas for this. After we get this one done and I've got my feet under me a little bit more, we might try to do a Bob Ross painting in wool. That kind of sounds like fun. It will definitely be a lot slower than our other paintings that we have done following his tutorials. And that's for sure. But that's okay. I mean, I'm really not trying to bust this shit out super fast. Because part of the whole thing is, you know, the time it takes to get there. I know a lot of people need a finished product right now, right this very second, but and while I do like having a finished product at the end of stream, I'm also fully aware that sometimes that's just not completely feasible. So just making sure we get our edge in there. Now, after I get everybody in on this layer, I might go back in with the Needle of Doom and just make sure that everybody's all tucked in there and anchored down pretty good. This is definitely a great rainy day activity, or too cold to go outside and do shit. Alright, I'm actually gonna take this little guy, because, you know, it's not whatnot. Those were the scissors that came in the kit. They're okay. They've got a little bit of a learning curve to them, so it's like, why isn't this cutting? And then all of a sudden it'll cut. Alright. I've seen some people use, like, house insulation, like the foam boards of insulation for their underpad too. I mean, you need something under this of some description, because if you don't, you're gonna go through and hit your service and bust your needle, and that's not gonna be happy. No one's gonna be happy with that. That's just not gonna work. It's kind of like cotton candy, except not sticky. I know that sounds silly, but that's kind of what it reminds me of. Pulling it apart. Or, okay, so I'm gonna age myself really bad here, but I don't care. When I was little, my mom would pull my hair up in these ponytails, and she had these fucking chunky ass hair ribbons that were like really chunky, braided, twisted, fluffy yarn. That's what this feels like when I would unravel them. So maybe not quite as soft. The stuff from the multi-bag of floof feels a bit coarser. I had one of the fellow mods from the WoW Challenges team had some roving that they had gotten for something that turned out they couldn't use. So she asked if I wanted it, and I was like, okay. And that is super soft. And actually, partially what I used, actually a good deal of it, I used on the mermaid sample piece that I showed in the beginning, that I had done as my first test piece, because I was like, well, I've got a ton of this. Let me try to use this as part of my test and see how this goes. And yeah, that stuff, like, it was an ombre type of roving that she had sent me. So it was like all these different colors woven together, but I kind of sat there and peeled. I was like cutting chunks off of it to get to the colors that I was looking for on that particular moment. And then I was just kind of peeling them away from each other. It worked out pretty good. Alright. So I know we're gonna have to come back in and add more of this pink color, or purple, light fuchsia, whatever the hell you want to call it. There's not names on the bags, so we kind of have to just be like, yeah, that color. Alright. So this edge hasn't been getting very much love, so let's come back in over here. And we'll add that in. Oh, I was so excited. Last night Momo came over. He actually got out of his bed. I thought it was Zuzu at first. And he stood up on his back legs and he's like, "Hey lady, what's up?" And it kind of shocked me for a minute. I was like, "Oh, it's a Momo." And I was like, "Do you want to go outside to go potty?" And he's like, "No, I'm hungry." I think he was telling us that we were late taking Zuzu out. So we were late giving last potty snacks, because he gets a last potty snack too, even though he hasn't shown any interest in wanting to go outside because of his back injury. We don't stiff him. That's not right. So I think he was trying to tell us that we were late for last potty snacks. And we're rewarding him for getting up unprovoked, because he's been very nervous about getting up since he hurt himself. So we're like, "That's fine, buddy. Here's a snacky." That was a good doggo. So we'll take it. Alright, I still have some loose bits here. I'm touching it so I can see where it's moving. So we can secure it. I mean, we've got the big guy that we'll secure it down more with, but alright. I'll stick you there so nothing happens with you. The dogs went crazy smelling this stuff, so I'm like, oh, this must still smell like the sheep or whatever it came off of. How far down do we take this color? We've got darkness here, we've got some other colors in here. Okay, so this is land. We got a little bit of water, so like maybe here. We have the little bit of sky up to here. Got a cloud line to maybe here, so okay. Wasn't quite sure how far we were gonna take it. Like I said, we'll add in some more to cover the green in the background as we get there. I think I might actually, in our next pass through, take a chunk of this and put in our stop line on the sky color, just so I don't get too carried away. So that way I know how far down I'm going. And yeah, I could have used a different color backgrounds, but again, this is just kind of the second time I've tried this, because, you know, I had the one that I had posted on Twitter for me trying it for the first time. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. But I definitely want to attempt to do a Bob Ross painting with the wool. It's gonna look nothing like the Bob Ross painting, but that will be for another project, not today's. Today we're just kind of doing our thing. I was just kind of gonna go with one from my brain, but the same time, I was a little nervous just to jump out there, out of my brain today, so my brain's still a little tired from yesterday. Yesterday was an odd day. I couldn't go to sleep when I needed to. I was wide awake. I managed to get like a 2.5, 3 hour nap in before I had to get up and figure out the turkey and get that in the oven. I had to wake up the husband to help me because the turkey was so heavy. And we line our sink with a trash bag when we're pulling the turkey out of like the plastic wrapping and stuff, so the mess doesn't fling everywhere, and it just kind of keeps the potential turkey spooge that's inside of it from going everywhere, basically, and more weird like that. And I guess the scissors that I had used to cut the wrapper off the turkey, I wasn't paying attention and had it sitting on the outside edge of the bag, and didn't realize it till later that I left the scissors in the bag when we picked up the bag and folded it up and threw it in the trash, and I threw the scissors away. I mean, we have a second pair of kitchen scissors. I was gonna put gloves on and go digging for it, and the husband's like, no, don't bother. He's like, it's fine. We'll replace them later. It's not a big deal. He goes, they are gonna be too nasty by now to clean properly. Because they weren't like really good kitchen shears. They were just the kind that came in like a knife block when you get like the multi-packs of knives, so wasn't that huge of a deal, but I was like super upset over that because I was so tired that I was not paying attention to what the fuck I was doing. And after we got turkey sorted, I kind of went to lay back down for a couple of hours while turkey was cooking, and he was tried to lay down with me, but he was too awake at that point. So I thought I was too awake at that point, but I think I kind of drifted for a while. And then last night I was like, oh, I'm wide awake now. And I'll tell you, I think my monk is cursed right now, because every time I take my monk out for WoW challenges for my Bloodthirsty, every time lately that she's been in Bastion, I've had an almost DC happen, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what is happening here? Alright, so where did we say we wanted that stop line to be? So we've got land here, like maybe to there. Then we've got like water to here, a little bit of sky. We got our cloud line here. Okay, so maybe in here. Just kind of, that seems a little high, but okay. Seems a little high for the reference photo, but well, that's okay. Alright, and then so there. Alright, just kind of a quick anchor in place there as we continue onward. And hopefully my camera doesn't start doing the weird light bar stuff again. The thing I had over my one work light to kind of diffuse the light half fell off of it. I guess the tape that I was using let go. It unstickified. It was on there for a good amount of time though. And I tried to do it without it, and the camera was like, nope. Light bars all of the way. So I was like, oh shit. Because I think this bulb is an LED. So the camera frame rate was not the same as the light bulbs. So we had the weirdness where, you know, sometimes you'll see from vloggers on YouTube where you'll have like the white and black bars running across the screen. So we had to fix that. But that has been picked out, a wax melt warmer for me. It changes color, but it changes color slowly. So it's kind of like I refer to it as my lazy disco, as it slowly cycles through the colors. My lazy scented disco. But I am enjoying the wax melter. We get a lot more scent time with the wax melts than we ever did with the incense sticks. Because I was almost considering if I could get a Biggie burner and the Biggie sticks from Wildberry, just to get more scent time out of the sticks, but I was also thinking that might be a little overpowering for our room. Alright, I'm just kind of occasionally peeling this up off of the pad so it doesn't become completely attached to the pad, because I had that happen with the other one, the first one I was doing. I was just kind of going at it and I hadn't pulled it up at all, and when I did go to pull it up, it was like, oh no, it wouldn't come up. So it was a little bit of a thing. Alright, I mean, we could pull out the big guy now, I guess. Now that we've got more.
You have visitors, dear.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So 23 people! Holy shit, bud. What the fuck just happened?
He just finished his RimWorld stream.
Oh, you were doing RimWorld again? Oh, I missed it. Dang it. I got up late. Well, thank you. Thank you for people. We're playing with needles. We're playing with needles of doom.
I'm not sure if you're aware, dear, but your chat is set to emote only.
Oh shit, I'm sorry. Holy shit. See, this is what happens when I set stream up when I'm half asleep. I am sorry, I apologize. And he didn't notice it till now either, so... Sorry, guys. I'm a bit of a muffin sometimes. I knew I was forgetting to do something. That's what I was forgetting to do. So, yeah. Welcome, welcome. Fluffy brained artist. I see. Thank you. My goodness. Yes, we're playing with sharp objects today. I wish that one needle wasn't bent. I might have to replace that one. But yeah, we're playing with sharp things. Sharp things and fluffy things. We've got quite the contrast going on here. Quite the contrast. So how was RimWorld? Did you die terribly? Did I do terrible, terrible things? After that dick came in last night and joined and then wouldn't come save me. I'm pretty sure that was just a random event where some dude just joined the colony, because I think that can happen over time. I was a little concerned that he was considered a governor, and my character was considered a warden, and he wasn't coming to come save me, and he was just letting me die outside the wolf cave, and I guess he wanted to take over, so that was interesting. I really should try to stream that. Russell would be very happy at my failings of trying to stream that, because I'm terrible at that game, but I have beavers to stream in the meantime, and we're doing quite the bang-up job killing off the beavers, I shall say, with the Timberborn streams. You got the crap kicked out of you by a wild woman, but is healing. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. I am not surprised. Not surprised. So are you figuring things out a bit more? Is it getting a little bit at least easier in the understanding of it. Today we're doing needle felting for those that don't have a clue as to what the heck we're doing. Some people do needle felting where they make like the cute little 3D animals. We are needle felting flat. We are painting with wool. We're using wool roving, which is what it is, what the wool is before it becomes yarn, before it is spindled and all that shit, and we're working with floof. So yeah, the start was smoother. Figured out how to prioritize workflow a little bit. Okay, good. Because yeah, you were saying last night you were having trouble where you're clicking one person to do the thing and then somebody else was doing the thing, and you're like, no, you're not supposed to do the thing. I told you to do the thing. That's the one good thing about beavers. I don't have to pick who's gonna do it. They just go do it. And I'm like, okay, somebody go do this. I just throw the work order in and they're like, okay, we'll go do the thing. Alright, so I'm just kind of figuring out where we want to place this next bit here. There's some little tiny, I guess, grass fibers that got stuck in there. Alright, I'm just kind of tacking down my edge here just to make sure our edge is edgified. So we're attempting to do something similar to our reference photo down in the corner. I am sorry it was still an emote chat, you guys. I knew I was forgetting to do something. I do apologize. I am still kind of tired. I'm still half asleep. I slept late. And then it was a very slow start for me to get stream set up. And I'm like checking all of the things. I'm like, what did I not do? Like, I know I didn't do something. That's what it was. Good. Are you enjoying it? Or is it madness? Because sometimes, like the RIM world and stuff, it can get stressful. Because it's like, no, I didn't tell you to do that. Why are you doing that? Like, stop. Alright. Just trying to make sure I keep my other fingers tucked out of the way, so we don't end up with needles in unprotected fingers. Because that's not it. That's not the thing. That's not what we want to have happen. I really like the smaller needle though. It's a lot slower, but I really like the smaller needle a lot more. This one's actually kind of heavy, surprisingly. This one's a lot lighter, I guess because the needles have a little bit of weight to them, and the handle probably weighs a bit more, but this one's a lot lighter on my wrist. We're still having some wrist issues, not like we were though. I can pick things up now without my hand feeling like it's broken, so I think I had severely strained a ligament or stretched a ligament, but that's doing a bit better. I can pick things up now. I've started to take some time off from sleeping with my splint on every so often.
I have to get corset. The stuff I had expired.
Oh, you're doing that today?
Yeah. We're seeing as we're not cooking today.
Okay. Do you have flavoring?
Yeah. I've had flavoring. I just haven't had the chance to make it.
Okay. You need to change your mask though.
Yeah, I know.
I guess I have to wash masks tonight. Because I think we're just about out of clean ones. We picked up some neck gaiters that we're going to wear with our masks. Because now they're like, oh, well, the fabric masks aren't that good anymore. Or maybe they've just got more N95s available now. So, and I'm like, well, I don't have money to buy N95s, and the neck gaiter thingy, we're not wearing that alone because they say that's worse than the fabric masks, but we're gonna wear it with the mask. Just as an extra layer of stuff. Alright, so we're getting there. It's a slow thing. So you are enjoying it. Well, that's good. Something different to do. You alright?
Yeah. Yeah, just switch.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
For some reason I thought you had lingered behind me and I didn't know what was up.
No, I just grabbed one.
It felt like you were just standing there, but you had already moved, so.
Alright, be right back.
Okay, be careful. Alright, so he's off to the store. He already went once this morning. He got candy making stuff. What'd you forget?
It's a nice day. I was thinking about wearing my earphones out. But hey.
So are you walking or driving?
I'm probably gonna walk this time.
He got candy making stuff for Christmas. Supplies to make candy. Like, he got this fucking crazy ass funnel and some smaller candy molds and stuff to do a proper double boiler, and he's all kinds of happy. He also got a new mechanical keyboard, which is quite loud. So we heard that in the beginning of the stream. It's loud when he's just typing furiously. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's definitely going to come through on stream. And he's like, no, it's not. I'm like, yeah, it is. I said, your other keyboard came through on stream. I could hear it when I was, when I play back, certain sections of the stream when I'm, like, trying to find something. And he's like, no, you can't. I said, yes, I can hear the other one. This one's definitely going to come through. And he didn't believe me. And then he went and listened to it when I was like, wow, that's loud. And he's like, oh, well, let me see if it's coming through. And I'm like, sweetie, it's coming through. Trust me. This mic picks up the stupidest stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure it picks up when the parentals are right outside our room talking in the dining room. You might not be able to hear exactly what they're saying, but I'm pretty sure a good amount of the time the voices get picked up. I mean, it picks up the traffic going by outside. So, like, of course it's gonna pick up your keyboard when we're in the same room. But, you know, well, that's just a thing, and it's just gonna be part of the background. Because the boy has to type. He can't just not be in the room, and because we're limited on space. We don't have a dedicated work room, so it's one of my things on my list. Do you guys ever make lists that you know will probably never come to be, but like you have a dream list of stuff that you would eventually like to have happen? I make fantasy lists of, you know, oh, if we ever had the opportunity, I would love to be able to do X. Well, if we ever have the opportunity, I would love to have a dedicated office that that I can work out of and stream out of, and just have like a specific room set up where I can game, or just have, you know, just the stream room. I would work inside a walk-in closet if I had to, and put the little sound echoey dampening squares up on the walls and stuff. I'd be fine with that, as long as I had enough room to work and had a fan for ventilation. I'd be cool with that. But we have no closets. This house is technically 2 bedrooms, And there's 3 sets of people living in the house. So, you know, our bedroom is what was once the living room, because it had its own door to the outside and was it's kind of like its own room. It's weird to describe it, but it's kind of sequestered off the rest of the house. It's not like in the middle of the house. There was like a doorway from here into the dining room. So this became our room when my dad moved in, and then my mom. So, but you know what? We gotta make do. Gotta work with what we got, but that is on one of my dream lists, that if we ever move, if we ever move, because I would eventually like to move to Florida, just so we can, you know, possibly get to Key West a little bit more often, because we wouldn't have to drive for 3 days, and we could just, you know, go down for the weekend or whatever. That's on my list, is like a place with 2 bedrooms or like an alcove, so that we can set up the extra room as a gaming art space. But that is far from ever going to happen. There's a lot of other things that have to happen for that to happen. The biggest thing is husband has to try to get disability, and we're still fighting that fight. We're in a holding pattern. The lawyers said they submitted the documents, and we are waiting. We are waiting for either an approval or a date to go before the judge, or for them to request more documents. We're in a holding pattern. We are waiting on Social Security. So, we'll see what happens with that. We hate the fact that we're stuck in this holding pattern of perpetually not knowing shit, and not knowing what's going on. Because we feel like we're out of the loop, but there's nothing to be said in the loop right now, so we're technically not out of the loop, because we're fairly certain the lawyer will get in contact with us when they know something to tell us, or have something to tell us. So, and we don't pay the lawyer until the things are done, and I don't think we have to pay them if the case doesn't win. So we will see. But it sucks that we're just in this state of not knowing what the fuck is happening. But what can you do? Not a whole lot. Yeah, I know that one's faster and probably a bit more efficient. I just don't like it. It angers me. It feels clunky, I think, is what it is. I feel like I can actually go at a pretty decent speed on this one. So like the mermaid one, the sample one, the very first one I did. Oh, I'm shutting. This one's a little extra fuzzy because it's just been sitting around. But this was the first one I did. I had some Under the Sea stencils that I had picked up for a different project that I was going to wood burn, and then the wood burner was really heavy in my hand, and then I hurt my wrist, so I couldn't really hold it. But I used the stencils to kind of fluff inside. So this one actually went pretty good. The background was the longest part on this one. But, I mean, it's not bad for my first attempt. Not really. I actually thought this was... Ooh, don't stab myself. I actually thought this was more white than it ended up being. It's more of like a grayish color, but that's okay. So yeah, that one wasn't terrible for the first time out. Of course, I missed putting a word in the original tweet. in my brain I said not horrible, and in the tweet I said horrible. I missed the word not, because that's how my brain works a lot of the times. I will be saying in my head what I want to type, and my fingers are like, okay, we're just not going to put that word in. And I'm like, no! And I don't realize that I missed the word until, like, you know, after 5 people have liked it, and I've gone back and looked at it, and I'm like, oh, hey, cool. And then I'm, like, rereading the tweet, and I'm like, oh, I had to look like an idiot. But I didn't feel like deleting and reposting it at that point, because too many people had interacted with it, so I'm like, well, shit. So now I'm just going to look like a doof. But, you know, everybody has those moments, I'm sure. I did go back under the tweet and edit it, but who the fuck knows if anybody saw the edit. And I do apologize if the camera's bouncing. Oh, it doesn't seem to be. Okay. I never know. I've got some like paper towel folded up underneath of my camera to try to keep it a little bit more snug with where it's sitting, because it's sitting on top of my monitor. And it's not the snuggest fit. It's a little bit loose. If it's at a certain angle, it will just sit there and constantly bounce. And the floor's uneven. I don't know what is with the floor in here, but when Russell steps in certain spots, near the door, because my desk is near our door outside, my whole desk shakes, and like both of my monitors will shake, and then the camera will shake, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I told you, light feet when you're near my desk. He's like, huh? And I'm like, light feet. He's like, oh, stop. And I'm like, no, it's making me nauseous. Stop. You're bouncing my monitor. But yeah, so we got the incense. We got... What'd you guys get for Christmas if you celebrated? I'm curious. Get anything good? Did you get what you asked for? We finally got it through my mom's head to please just get us with the things that we asked for, and we gave her a specific list. So this is how I got this stuff. And my wax melter, and the wax melts. It was kind of funny. Russell ended up ordering the wax melts for her, I think from the company directly, because I don't think Amazon had what we were looking for, but their website did. And I guess it's their 50th anniversary, because I got a 50th anniversary coin in the box of the wax melts. They sent me a scent of the month, which was interesting. We kind of liked the smell of the stick, and I thought we had found a new scent that I could use. And then we lit it, and the scent changed. And that's what happens a lot of times with the incense sticks, where it'll smell good before it's burnt to me, and it might be on the possible go list. And then we light it on fire, and then the scent completely changes. And I'm like, oh no, no, no. It quickly became a no after we lit it last night, and I'm like, oh dear. And I got one thing from him that I had talked about wanting a while ago, but it was on my, if we ever get some disposable income, I would like to try this, because I'm sure it's just gimmicky, and it might not do a whole heck of a lot. But, you know, part of me would like to have this for the days when I need to be sitting up and can't lay down anymore. So I'd asked for him a while ago, this Migraine Ice Hat. It's basically got like pockets on the inside of the hat in certain places where you can, where these like gel ice pack inserts go into. And he remembered that I had said that I had wanted that at one point, and so he got me that. Or he threw it on the list for my mom to get me, is really what it was. And like, I'm excited to try it, but at the same time I really don't want the migraine, so it's kind of a weird thing. It's like, I want to see how the thing works, but I also, I I also don't want the headache that's going to go with it. I don't know how long to expect the little gel packs that came with it to stay frozen, because they are kind of small. So I don't know. Oh, let's get the finger out of there that doesn't have the protector on it. I don't know what to expect with it, so we'll see. He got a new hooded sweatshirt, so now he doesn't have to go out in public in his bathrobe because he didn't have a winter coat. So we were quickly becoming the weird people of the town. And I'm like, must you wear that into the grocery store? He goes, what? It's nighttime. And I'm like, sweetie. He goes, what? I'm already the crazy person in Prairie Grove. He goes, I might as well just go for the whole thing. And I'm like, okay. Like, I don't mind the bathrobe so much when we're just out on our nightly walks. I mean, I did it first, but I'm used to it. But we're not, like, going in any stores or anything. And I'm just like, not really what you should be wearing into the store. He's like, what? I've got clothes on underneath. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not really the point. He's like, well, I don't have any goats. So, like, the hoodies that he had before had the zippers broke on it. And he's really weird with clothing texture sensitivity, like I can be, where it's either too tight or it's too itchy or this has sleeves, get this the fuck off of me, you know. It's strange, but he has a shirt now, a jacket, kind of, because I mean we do get snow from time to time here, but it's not like New Jersey cold all of the time where he would need a proper winter coat. We can get by with sweatshirts and stuff most of the time. That's filling in pretty good there. See, and then you can see when you look at the back of it, you can see where like the fibers are being pushed through in certain sections. Alright, so we need a little bit more going on here. But, oh, he also got me this kick-ass flashlight, and I am so excited about it. When we go out at night on our walks, we take a flashlight with us, because it's very dark here. There's not very many streetlights. And, there's wildlife at times. A couple times we've almost walked into a skunk foraging for food. So we're like backing the hell up out of there. We're like, oh, no. You're fine, Mr. Skunk. We'll be on our way. And we'll turn around and go back the way we came. But the more concerning thing is that there's been a hell of a lot of coyote sightings lately. We think we had one on our front porch a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago now. Probably closer to 2 months. I have bad remembrance at time passing. And there's been people posting on one of the Facebook pages that someone set up for townspeople, talking about seeing some at night or early in the morning when they've been coming home from work down near the high school. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And you know, kind of warning people that, hey, you might want to bring your outside pets in, because people like to leave their animals outside all of the time here, which really baffles me. I mean, I get that some of the farm animals, some of the farm dogs are working, but this is the residential section, and your animal's not protecting sheep. Maybe you could at least bring them into the garage for the night, or pet gate them into the kitchen to keep them from getting into too much trouble. Does anybody else feel like it's Monday? I woke up and I'm like, I know it's Sunday, but it just feels, has such Monday vibes going on right now, and I am so lost. That is how I woke up. I'm like, why does it feel like Monday? And Russell said he felt the same way. I don't know, it's felt very Monday-esque today, and I know it's Sunday. I know that. I don't know. It's been strange today. Very strange. Sorry I keep pulling it up. It's easier to pull it up for me before we get too far into it, because that's kind of how the other one got a little bent out of shape. It became rather attached to its felted base and did not want to let go. So I'm trying to pull things up a little bit more often. I don't know if I should be or not, but since this surface, it's attaching itself to... It'd probably be easier to pull up off of the foam, but the foam is very loud and crunchy. And I went with the felt pad because I was like, well, you know, I'll probably have to replace this one a lot less often. If I do a lot of this, then the foam then the foam pad, because the foam pad's very loud and I can see the needle pokes breaking that down pretty quickly for what we're doing. You know? Alright. So we need a little bit more up in here. And probably need to give our side here a little bit more love. This edge hasn't gotten too much love here. But I'm kind of digging this so far. I know it seems silly, but kind of liking that I don't have to worry about paint drying out. And this seems like it would be a much easier... Bless you, kitty cat. Mr. Ed over here sneezing. Seems like this would be a much more portable creative outlet than some of the other things that I have, because, you know, paint takes up a lot of room, and then you have to make sure that you have water to clean your brushes, and then you have to be mindful about how you're disposing of the water depending on where you are. Because we had been talking about maybe one weekend, if we save the money up, possibly renting a cabin at one of the state parks, and he was gonna let me, like, he's like, oh, you can bring your Bob Ross stuff, and I'm like, oh, I appreciate the offer, and I understand what you're getting at, but that's oil paint, and that shit ain't gonna be dry to get home with. I mean, I have my bucket of paint thinner that's contained, like, I wouldn't have to worry about that, but my biggest concern was getting home without the painting self-destructing, basically, because it would be sliding around in the car, and because it's very mountainy where we would be going, and I'd have to worry about it making a mess in the car, and or getting a container big enough for the painting to sit in. And I was just like, I don't know how that's gonna work. And the hotel staff might not appreciate me throwing away paper towels soaked in oil paint, because it's gonna stink. So, okay. So it's a little not flat at the moment, but that's alright. It's okay. I get so guilty when I use my art supplies because I'm like, oh, but if I use it, then I won't have it. Which is stupid because you got it to use it. So my brain is constantly at war with itself when I'm using new stuff because I'm like, but I got it to use, but if I use it, then I'm not going to have it to do more things. And then I'm like, you just totally fucking contradicted yourself. You got the thing to use the thing, so use the thing. You won't get better at doing the thing unless you do the thing, so. Constant war in my brain. Constantly. Oh, we also got a Dutch oven that Russell's super excited about because he wants to make corn chowder so bad with this one recipe that he has. So he was super happy. Oh, my flashlight. So I started to say the story and got distracted and totally stopped. So yeah, so we like to have a flashlight with us so A, people can see us, and B, so we can see any potential wildlife that we need to be aware of. But a lot of times when we go out, I'm using a regular flashlight with batteries, and it's a pretty bright flashlight. It has a thing on it where you can kind of narrow the beam to focus on something specific, and it's really bright when you have fresh batteries in it. But you know, if we go on a walk like every other night or most nights, when the weather's decent or when we're both feeling well, to get some exercise in, the batteries go pretty quick. Our walks aren't normally that long. They could be anywhere between 10 minutes to 15 to 20. We just kind of walk around a couple of the blocks. Some nights it's shorter than others, depending on how Russell's doing. With anxiety-wise and all, and the fact that we're away from the house. Some nights we have to cut it a lot shorter. But I burn through batteries so fast. And, you know, and I feel really guilty about burning through the batteries, but we really need the flashlight when we're out so we can see what we're stepping on, because there's really not that very many streetlights. And I said, you know, I'd love to have like a rechargeable thingy or something at some point. And he found one. He found this super awesome USB rechargeable, super bright flashlight. I need this one to at least get the first bit of anchoring down on that. And oh my god, I love it so much. We weren't sure if it was charged when I opened it, and I was like, oh, this is nice, and we found the little charging wire, so we figured we had to charge it first. Russell just decided to turn it on a whim, and oh my god, it's so bright even inside with the lights on. We were like, ooh, that's nice. And it has a thing so you can narrow down the beam to focus on something, plus it has 2 light settings. It has a normal mode and then it has a super spotlight mode on it, and I'm like, oh my god, I love this flashlight so much. It has a little charging indicator light on it. Oh, it is fantastic. We haven't been out on a full walk yet, because I've felt like shit the past couple of days, because of course I did, because, you know, holidays and stuff. I had to not quite get a full migraine, but it was pretty close. It was definitely in the headache range. I was like, no, we can't do this right now. So we haven't been out yet on a full walk. He's used it to run the dog across the street a couple of times at night, and he goes, oh, I can't wait for you to try this when we go out. He's like, you are going to love this. I'm like, I already love it. I already love it. We haven't really taken it out for a full test run yet. Oh, there's a kitty touching my leg. Hi, kitty. Alright, so we wouldn't need quite so many layers of this, I think, if I'd used a different color background, but I didn't, so that's okay. Like I said before, we're just kind of getting our feet under us with this. And I wanted to use this since I had already had it cut from the other project. So that's fine. It kind of sounds like crunching snow when you're doing it on the felt pad. Much better sound than the foam pad, definitely. So, how you guys doing? Have you recovered from Christmas Day yet? You're working on it? We still have to clean up. I don't know when that's gonna happen. Like, we have to take down Christmas lights and stuff. We usually leave them up till New Year's. But I was actually thinking about doing it today or tomorrow early because the weather's warm. Oh, my fingers are just destroyed. I got all of the hangnails ever that just popped up over the past couple of days. Cut the thing, thank you. Like, cut the thing, don't run away. Just cut the thing. But, yeah, so Russell did some of yesterday's dinner dishes today. There's still some I still have to do. Oh, see, this is why we have the finger thingies, because I just stabbed myself. Not hard, I stopped when I felt it hit the leather, but that's why we do the finger protectors. Safety first when using this many sharp objects, especially when my hand-eye coordination is not the greatest. Definitely. So we're just building up our background color here. I mean, I would probably still have to do this many passes with the color even if I was on a lighter background because I've been doing it a little thin as I am not wanting to overdo because that's me. And we're still learning. Like I said, this is only the second time I've tried doing this, so I'm still very much excited about this. I'm more excited about this than working on my challengers for the wild challenges stuff that I need to do later. I'm really scared to get back on that monk after I almost DC'd again last night. I thought that my dad had did something with the router wire again. However, I had noticed right when I almost DC'd, latency had hit the roof. It was like triple digits. And I was like, oh, what is this fuckery? What is happening? Facebook was telling me my internet connection had been non-existent for a minute and then came back and then was non-existent and then came back, and I'm like, it just kept rotating through that for like 10 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, between that and the triple digit latency and wow, I think we're done for the night. So the monk may or may not be ready. Come Wednesday, we will see. I don't know. Right now I'm like, I'd rather just make pretty things. So we'll see. We'll see. Very much rather make pretty things right now. So yeah, for the new people, we do art on Sunday. most of the time. Sometimes we do art an additional day if we have something that we're trying to work on to get done. Especially if I'm on a project that I'm either really excited about or it's a commission and I'm trying to get it done by a deadline. Then we'll do extra days on that. I'm not sure what this week's streams will bring. With the husband wanting to play Stardew Valley co-op, I've just been kind of going with it. I know it's thrown our regular schedule kind of willy-nilly, but if he wants to do something together and he's showing interest in that, then we're gonna kind of take a break from regularly scheduled streams and go with that. Because it's not often that we play something together, or that he wants to do what I'm doing as well, so we'll just go with it. So apologies if that drives some of you crazy, but we will get back to the other things that we've started working on at some point, I promise. It will happen, we will get there. I'm just hoping that we can get back into New York in Timberborn before they put out another update, because it is an early access, so if the update is extensive enough, they're like, yeah, if you try to play that, the game's probably gonna crash because there was so much stuff changed. And I'm like, oh, okay. Right, new map then. Okay. Like, oh, that's okay. New adventures. Okay, I think we need another bit up here. Yes. Yes, we do. No, see, like, if you could, like, lay flat for me, that would be fantastic. I mean, I could pin it, but there we go. When all else fails, grab the little guy. That'll work. So I thought we had gotten rid of the mice, and then we found another one in the house, and then I was like, ah, shit. And then we found another one in the house. Well, the cats found it in the house. One we think we saved, another one we don't think made it, because the cats had it in their possession a little too long. And then I thought, okay, cool, we're done. We're all done. Well, then, I thought I heard feet in the ceiling. Pretty sure I heard them in the ceiling because Russell heard them too. And we put the traps back up and nothing ever came near the traps. And then we stopped hearing them. So I don't know what that was about. A little odd. Can't say what that was about. Oh, really? Now you're gonna be a weird texture now, because I rolled you, aren't you? Oh. There's a loose section in there. Okay. We can cover that section with a cloud. That's fine. It'll be, well, yeah, I think there's supposed to be a cloud there anyway. So let me snip some more. Alright, let's see. Where do we need some more in here? It's a little thin in here. And then I think we'll add a little bit more down in here. And then we'll move on to a new color. Well, I do need a little bit more there. As I'm adding stuff in here, I'm seeing where it looks a little bit thinner. And that's okay. Like I was saying before, this is not a super fast project for me. I mean, painting sometimes can be a little long as well, but I'm also being a little extra fussy. And that's okay. It's your project. You be... Oh, you're a little thin in there too. You be as fussy with it as you want. You know? It's your thing. But this will probably be a 2-week project. Probably. Because I doubt we'll finish today. I'm not trying that hard to finish today. I'm just kind of chilling. We're just chilling, merging some fibers together and trying something new. Now, I have seen needle felting kits on Etsy and on Amazon that look pretty interesting, that I think give you most of the stuff you need. I'm not sure if they have the pad. I think I was looking at one of those kits because I almost got one before Christmas to give it a go. And I think I was reading what came with the kit and there was something that was missing, and I was like, oh, well, I'll just wait till I get my own stuff for Christmas. But yeah, I definitely can't wait to try to recreate a Bob Ross painting or try to follow a Bob Ross tutorial with this. That will be all kinds of fun, I think. I know a lot of people probably don't think that would be fun, but I do. Alright. So we are still a little thin in a couple spots up here, but I think that we can probably add some clouds in those sections, and that'll take care of that. And get a little bit more fluff here to fill in this section. And I have no idea what else the husband messaged me. We have our new channel art though. That has to go up later today. And that's exciting. He finished up that for me. Oh, Zortz, if you're still here, he messaged you on Discord. He'll do it for free for you. As a Christmas gift. He doesn't mind. You just need to let him know what you're looking for. He's fine with that. That was his offer, so this kind of stretched out here, and we'll get that tapped in there. Alright, that's just gonna anchor that in. Let me see what he... Oh look, we got all kinds of new follows. Thanks guys. New followers, or followers in general. You now have access to the Flamingo seasonal chat emotes. We have a summer, a spring, there's also a George the aloe plant. George is still alive and well. There's, hang on, I can't see the other ones. Where are they? The way Twitch lays out this stuff when you're in a smaller screen is kind of a pain. We also have a winter flamingo and a fall zombie flamingo. So we've got those options. Oh, okay, he sent me, okay, so he sent me the channel art that we're going to be putting up. I asked for one with text and one without. The one without is going to go on the banners in all of the places on the YouTube channel, if I can make it fit. YouTube's kind of fussy with the header art. I'm never able, no matter, even when we size it to what it says, it still doesn't look right. So that's one sizing I've never been able to get to cooperate. But it's gonna go on the Twitter page at least. Don't know if I'm changing the banner on Kofi. I might. And we might also, I don't know if we'll change the Etsy store. We might leave the Etsy store as it is. I don't know, but sometimes it helps if at least the same images carry over so people know they're in the right places. Sort of thing. Oh, damn, I should have had him... Shit. Damn. Of course, now I think about it. Oh, that would have been a good tie-in. Okay. He's gonna get mad at me if I ask him to add that in. Because he just finished for the day. If I make one more revision after I already approved it, I'm like, no, that's good. And he's like, okay. And he's like, I'm done. Oh, damn. Damn it, brain. Why don't you think of these things ahead of time? Maybe I can talk him into adding one more thing to it. But then it won't be up today, so... Damn. Oh well, I figured we could have tied Pinky in, but that's okay. I'll talk to him. So that might be delayed by going up a day. Oh, hi Stomach. Stomach says hello. Stomach has not been fed yet today. I've eaten enough stuff in the past few days. Plus we haven't gotten our walks in. Weather's been crazy. It's never been this warm here for Christmas. Never. I mean, we've still had the air conditioning running in November before, but usually by now we'll at least have the the heat on, and I'm sitting here with the fucking window open at the end of December. Like, what? We are not in the deep south here. We are in northern Arkansas. We are still close enough to the cold air that we will get snow occasionally. This is crazy. Alright, just trying to make sure that we are good and anchored. Alright, that feels pretty solid in there. I'm just gonna kind of trim up the edges a little bit. Because remember, I want to stay within the inner square. My outer square is going to be for trimming down to make sure it fits in the frame okay. Because I learned that lesson from the first one. So that we can try to keep a somewhat straight edge. So I knew where my potential work surface was, and having the larger border around it gives me something to grip to pull it up off of our fabric here, off of our pad. Hey, you're gonna be mad at me.
Why?
Because I just thought of something to
What's up?
tie in on that background with like Pinky peeking through a window.
Can't promise nothing else.
Yeah. What's wrong?
I misjudged what sized pan I needed. This is not actually big enough, and I heated enough. I can't transfer pan, so I gotta go get rid of this, and I gotta go get more sugar because apparently we were almost out of sugar.
I told you I thought we were out of sugar.
I thought we had another bag of it, but I couldn't find it.
No, I think I dumped it. See, I told him I thought we were almost out of granulated sugar when we were doing our last shopping run. He's like, no, we have another bag. And I'm like, that's what you told me the last time we were doing a shopping run, and I'm pretty sure I used it. Because we've been doing a lot of cooking. Because he had a couple batches of peanut butter cookies I made him and stuff, so it's a good thing we have a grocery store like right down the street. So we will see what happens with that. Just a minute, he'll be right back. Yeah, the mother-in-law never came for Christmas because the family that she was gonna go see all got COVID, or at least several of them did. So we were happy that we didn't have to worry about her going there and then trying to come here, which is what she was originally going to try to do. So I'm like, no. You go there, then you're not coming here. Because they didn't try to do anything to save themselves. Because they all thought it wasn't real. So she spent Christmas in Oklahoma with her other sister. She's coming back in February now when she has some doctor's appointments. What's up?
Nothing, just pull myself together for yet another trip.
No, what did my mom want?
She wanted me to get her a couple things while I was out getting the sugar.
So, like, we have another bedroom, but we don't have another bedroom because it's technically her room and she technically still lives here, so we can't really do anything with that room. Because eventually... What the hell is that noise? That was weird. Like, it almost sounded like a weird-ass siren, but yet not. That was weird. Sorry, it was something coming from outside that just penetrated my brain, and I was like, oh. Alright, so that might be enough of, well, I kind of feel like we've got a little bit of, let me see if I can get close to the photo. Like, there's some of the light purple, like, peeking through the edge there. So I kind of feel like maybe we need to do one more pass on this, maybe. Just to get that section in there. Like, we don't have to do too much, just a little bit. Just kind of anchor in my corners before we hop on in here. So yeah, like, we can't really do anything with her room because eventually she's not going to be traveling with her sister back and forth to New Hampshire. Eventually she's going to have to come back and stay put. And oh my god, I really don't want her gallivanting around with her sister from New Hampshire in Oklahoma any longer because, okay, so those that live in, well, I mean, it's pretty common. So if you have toll roads in your area, you probably have the little pass systems where you can sign up with an account and you get the little sticker or the RFD sticker or the little box that will register every time you go through one of the toll plazas, and it will bill your account or auto deduct or whatever it's set up to do, right? Well, Oklahoma has a Pike Pass. Some of the exits off of the turnpikes there, the toll roads, don't have someone that you can pay at. It'll be either a toll by plate or, in some cases, it will be Pike Pass only exit. In which case that means you can't use that exit unless you have the Pike Pass system, which is their little, their pass system, like the equivalent to Easy Pass up in Jersey, New York area, or parts of Philly, and like Florida has Sun Pass. So I mean, it's a specific exit for that pass. If you use that exit and you don't have the appropriate pass, you get fined, as you should, because your dumbass didn't see the signs that said Pike Pass only. It's not like it's a surprise they put signs up, but the sister has a Easy Pass system for New Hampshire that she put in the car, in the mother-in-law's car, because they're using her car. And the first time they came down, she's like, oh, just go through the Pike Pass lane, it'll be fine. And it's like, did that say an Easy Pass lane? No, it said a Pike Pass lane. They are not all interchangeable. One pass does not work in another state unless it says it accepts this pass. What the hell, people? It's not that difficult to understand. If your pass system isn't listed on the sign, you can't use that lane or that exit. Like, what the fuck? Like, and she worked for Texas Instruments doing like a lot of heavy shit. I'm like, how are you this dumb? Really? The sign didn't say that you could use it, then you can't use it. Come on now. And it's not that difficult. So they went somewhere and went through a Pike Pass exit only. And we got the bill for it. And Russell called her and she's like, well, there wasn't anywhere for us to pay. And we're like, well, if it says Pike Pass only, there's not gonna be someone for you to pay. And now she has to pay a $25 toll for using that exit. When, because she like, Like, I heard her yell, $25 through the phone. And it's like, well, yeah, you used the wrong exit. What should have been like a $2 toll or $3, yeah, it's gonna be that much because you done fucked up. That's the way it goes. Alright, so we're gonna do our next line of background color. I probably did come down a little low, but let's see, is this the color I want? Is this navy or is this black? I think that's black. It looks black. Alright. So let's get some of our black stuff here to be our ground here at the bottom. So I'm like, I said, when is that due? Because Russell's like, well, she's paying that. He goes, I'm not paying that. He goes, I don't have money to pay that. The thing of it is, the car's in Russell's name. The car is registered to Russell. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like, if she fucks us over because they're doing dumb things, I don't even know the date that they went through it. Because I was thinking Pike Pass that it was in Massachusetts. But I think that's Oklahoma's Pike Pass. Because they've done that before. Maybe it was in Massachusetts. It was somewhere that they went through one and we'd gotten a bill for it previously. And it was like $3. And he's like, okay, fine. I can't remember what the Oklahoma one is now. It could be Oklahoma or Massachusetts. Now that I'm thinking about it. But, they do such dumb shit, and I'm like, stop. You all don't care, but Russell's the one that the car is registered to. You all need to stop. I really want them to change who the car is registered to. It can't be that difficult. Why can't we just change who it's registered to? The cars are paid off. It doesn't matter now. The car was originally registered to Russell because when they got the cars, his credit was better than his mom's. So, for payment purposes, it reduced the payment to be in his name. And I think he had to co-sign on her car when she got it. Because they got both cars at the same time. And I don't like the car gallivanting everywhere with his name on it out of state. But what was that noise?
That constant revving noise every once in a while? I think it's kids playing with an RC car because I saw some setting up in the car wash.
Oh, that was loud.
Yeah, I noticed.
I thought it was like some kind of...
As far as I know, it might be someone in a four-wheeler or something, I don't know.
I don't know, that was weird. It sounded like a siren. I don't know why you would set that up in a car wash to play with, though. I mean, there's cars constantly coming in and out of that car wash this time of day. It's a busy car wash. Alright, how much black do we need on the bottom here? Probably a little bit more, I'm thinking. But, you know, there's not much we can do about that. 1 year, I would love to go to Florida for Christmas. Maybe not exactly for Christmas Day, because that would be atrociously expensive. And we would never have the money to do that. But I would love to go at least, like, end of November-ish to see all of the holiday things and the lights and stuff at, like, Busch Gardens and in SeaWorld and stuff. My bucket list trip would be to spend Christmas in Key West, but that'll never happen. We don't have that kind of money. We will probably never have that kind of money. And reservations for that probably have to be made like January 1st or January 2nd. Probably 2 years in advance, depending on where you want to stay. But that's some big bucks there. They charge a fortune for the holiday season. Are you that loose up here? Okay. Alright, so it's getting a little puffy because of how much we're punching through the fibers on the back. And that's fine. That's normal. Yeah, that one's not actually tagged down there. Alright, good enough. Okay. So let's trim up this edge just a little. Right, and let's see about putting you down in here. So yeah, this yarn, or roving, is a much different quality than the stuff one of the other mods sent me. This stuff's a little bit more coarse, it feels like. A little bit more fuzzy. And it's probably a little bit cheaper. Alright. Do we need more black on that? Probably not. Oh, there is a... Oh, I put that away. We do have a little bit more of our pink there on the bottom. Kind of looks like this. Well, no, maybe it's a little different than the sky color. And it looks like I do have... Well, no, we'll do that with a darker purple. Alright, so it's kind of similar to our cloud color there. Let's see. What color were we gonna do our clouds? I'm thinking we'll do them in this color. Okay, that was that color. I'm gonna put the ones that we've used to the side just so we can keep track of them. So we have a little bit of a light spot that we have to put in. If I can find the edge of this. Okay, so this is kind of laying in up in here a little bit. Not very bright. Oh, stabbed the finger protector again. Yay for the finger protector. So I mean, it's very close to the other color. But we've also got it a little bit thinner. So we just kind of want a little bit of a lighter section in here. We still haven't seen our porch visiting cat. He disappeared a couple days before Christmas. And we kind of haven't seen him since. So it's a little strange. We don't know what happened to him. We don't know if there was a territory shift or if the family went away for the holiday. I mean, I guess it's possible the family moved out and took him with them. I mean, that's very possible. Here, we might have to add just a little bit more. To that section in there. So, I mean, it's not super different. It is subtle. But I'm sure if we layered that up a bit, it would be a little more noticeable in that section. So make sure that we are fully anchored in there. All right. So we've got a little, oh yeah, it's kind of noticeable. It's more noticeable in the camera. Where else do we have a little bit of this light floof? Maybe we'll, that's a lot of light floof there. Let's cut that down a little bit more. Maybe we'll add you right in there. All right. So we will get that all tapped down in place. Yeah, no, bucket dream list Christmas vacation would be in Key West, but that would be super big bucks. And that will never happen for us, so maybe we can at least visit sometime in December eventually to at least see all the old houses all lit up and stuff. That would be lovely. Cats, what are you doing? Oh, hold on, little. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Oh. Hold on. I will be right back. 1 second. The cat's got something on her foot. Be right back. 1 sec. Alright, sorry guys, I had to check on the cat. She got caught on the area rug under my desk, and when I turned around to help her after I threw my headphones off, she was gone, and then I saw her walking funny out of the room. I just wanted to make sure she was okay. And she seems to be. At least at the moment. Okay. So let's get that color floof back in that bag. Now I gotta try to get my finger booties back on. Yeah, see, my fingers are kind of fat for the finger booties, but that's okay. They are there to protect the fingers. I'd much rather have the tight finger booty than a needle impaled in my hand, so there we go. Alright. Now, I do need this color, but there's another color in there down by the water. I'm thinking we'll do this color. Right down there along the edge. If I can unfurl you. How are you? There we go. You do this like elegant little twist. Oh, you're that light color. Let me stick you up there. So yeah, we'll stick this down into here. All right. So we'll get that tucked in on the side. Just trying to keep it from getting too fuzzy in the black section there. Try to keep its color to itself here. But it wants to share. I feel like my needle is loose or something. It doesn't feel loose, it just looked it. Okay. I'll just make sure that this is all anchored in there. So yes, it's very slow. It's actually kind of relaxing. You can put on some music, put on, I don't know, Netflix or Hulu, whatever the heck it is that you want to listen to, or a podcast. And just kind of go to town. So I never did get to work on my paint by number on Friday because I was sporting quite a heavy headache that felt like it was going to turn into a migraine, which I did not want on Friday. I had too much to do. So I just kind of chilled. And desperately sat here hoping that it didn't turn into anything else. I have to come back in and add a little bit more in there because that feels like there's a bit of a gappy gap in there. All right, we're making a little bit of progress. I think we are, at least. But like I said, it is slow. It does take time. And I can lose quite a bit of time working on this. I did the other night. I was like working and working and working, and then all of a sudden I was like, what time is it? I was like, oh, it's only this amount of time. And then I just went back to work on it, and the next thing I know, I'd lost another 2 hours. I was like, oh shit. I was like, how did I lose that much time doing this? Like, I shouldn't have. Oh, right. Now, the palm trees are probably going to be the trickiest bit. Although those could be the funnest bit. Honestly. Those definitely have potential. To be rather interesting. Okay, now. Alright, I feel like we might need just a tiny bit more. Sorry, I'm trying to see if I got some little extra fibers. Yeah, don't do this around open flame, definitely. That's why I went to the wax melter instead of the actual flame burner. Like, I have an electric one. I don't have it with the candle because I was afraid that we'd be setting wool fibers on fire that are floating through the air. And we don't want that. That would not do us any favors. Yeah, I'm gonna have to bring some right along that edge in there. And that's fine. We've got a good amount of this color still. I am gonna snip that down just a little, so we're a little bit easier to manage along that edge in there. And I think I might pull another color out for our background here. I'm so glad I don't have to cook today. You guys have no idea. I'm just like, yes, leftovers. All of the leftovers ever. Alright, that's pretty good in there. Okay. And this is just, the base is just a piece of felt, like craft store felt. Nothing extravagant, nothing hugely special. Just, you know, your basic, like, what, 50-cent, 25-cent square of felt. I've seen some people use different backings, like that's a little bit thicker, but this does the job. It's fine. For me starting out, this is more than fine. We don't need to go too crazy with all of the expensive stuff. Until we're sure that we like doing the thing. I mean, sometimes, you know, sometimes if you get like the cheapest of the cheap products to test something out with and to learn it, your results might not be that good, so then, you know, you might not ever try it again. So I do understand that mentality, but at the same time, when you're just starting out with like something like this, I think it's okay to go with the less expensive background felt. I think that should be fine. Alright, so let me try to get this back in its bag here. I probably won't be able to get it closed because these are the cheapest Ziploc bags. Oh, we got that one closed. They're like the little floss bags. Alright. So, there's like a bit of like a orangey salmon color hanging out in there. So I think I'm gonna take a look at our box of colors here. See if I see that. I mean, that's not bad, but we have something else. I mean, it's not really red. It doesn't feel full on red. It feels like a persimmon or a really dark. It's not really orange either. I mean, I don't know. Okay, let's start with this. We're gonna have to come back in here to pull out our sun colors. Anyhow, I definitely need to get a different box though. Alright, I am going to end up using this little bit. Just to kind of get that worked in there. I know it'll be subtle. It kind of looks like the similar shade in the background, but you know what? That's okay. Alright, where else did we see this? Kind of like over in here. Just to kind of get that in. Are we going to see all of it? Probably not. But I saw that sitting on the edge, and I was like, you know, we probably should just kind of use that guy in there. Alright, so I don't have to figure out what box he belongs to or bag. Okay, so let's Yeah, let's go with this one. Like, it's not gonna match the photo entirely because, you know, it's kind of hard to match the wool. Sorry about the crinkling in the background. That is the cat, or one of the cats. My mom got them one of those like multi-toy stockings for Christmas, and in there was Ed's favorite toy of all time, the crinkle foil ball. And he had one of those for like 2 years that we kept finding in the house. It was no longer round, it was flat, it had been stepped on, the color was faded on it. It had been dunked in water so many times by him. He has this thing where he has to put his toys in the water. Or at least that kind of toy. I don't know why. But then again, Zoe used to dunk dish towels. I would have a dish towel hanging off of the handle of the fridge. And it would either fall off the handle of the fridge, or she would pull it off, and she would walk around the house with it, meowing. And then I would find it with a corner dunked in one of the water bowls. And a huge ass sopping puddle of water all over the floor. Because as the one corner soaked up the water, it flowed down the towel. I was like, Zoe. And she was so proud of herself. She'd also find my socks. She would either take them out of the box that I kept my socks in, because we don't really have a dresser. We have, we recycled a bunch of kitty litter containers, like from Tiny Cat, because they're stackable. And, so we have a lot of them we're using for storage of things that we just don't have anywhere to go. We don't really have any closets in this house. So, one of those buckets doesn't have a lid on it, so I've been putting my socks and stuff in there, and she would go in there and pull a sock off the edge if there was one hanging out, and walk around with one of my socks. I'd be missing a sock and find it in the hallway, or in the bathroom, or in the water bowl, and I'm like, damn it, Zoe, stop. Now the kitten, the newer kitten, she's sort of obsessed with water, but not in the same way. She likes water. Like, whenever I fill up the water bowl, she comes charging forth to the water bowl, but not in the same way that Zoe would. Alright, let's see about tamping our, well, not really tamping, but I'm going to anchor this on the corner. We have another color that's going to come in on top of this, so that's fine. So Ed's been playing with this crinkly foil ball obsessively since he got it. And last night I was almost asleep, or this morning, however you want to look at it. And I went to bed early because I was so tired, almost asleep, and I heard this noise. And I'm like, what the fuck is that noise? Oh my god. And he's being a spaz right now. I'm like, what is this noise? At first I thought Momo was eating out of the one dog food bowl, and I was like, oh good, he got up. But as the noise is continuing, I'm like, it doesn't quite sound like anybody eating. What is this noise? And then I thought somebody was digging at the front door, letting me know that the outside cat was back. And I was like, oh, is he back? And I quick jumped up and realized that Ed was playing with the crinkly ball, and that was the noise I was hearing. I was like, oh Jesus Christ. I was like, really? I was like, Kitty, you can't scare me like that. So I grabbed it and threw it out into the other room. And the sound I woke up to this morning was him playing with the crinkly ball back in here. And I think he ran into Little. He and Little do not get along very well. I don't know what it is, but she does not like Ed very much. And the feeling seems to be mutual, as far as I can tell. Because they've gotten into some pissing contests. And then she hides from him. So I'm not really sure who's starting it at this point. Alright, that was becoming a little too attached. Let me see. What time is it? 5 o'clock. Alright. We're probably going to go a little bit longer. Alright, we still have a lot to do on this. That's for certain. I'm just using this guy to make sure that we are pretty good. Everybody's good and sunk in. Okay, so you can see where the fibers are coming through on the back. And that's normal. Okay. So we need a little bit more of this color. Not a whole lot, because we're going to have some other colors coming in on top of it. But this color seems to be the predominant color in this section of the sky. And I just want to make sure that we have a lot of the green covered up from the background as best as we can. Because we're going to be coming back in with some yellow. And I don't want it to look funny with the yellow on top of the green. So I might have to do a couple of passes on this color just to make sure that we are all filled in and looking good here. So we're looking a little thin in this one section here. No, come here. Alright, so maybe go a little bit more in there. And maybe a little bit more in there. And then I think we might need just a little bit more on the edges too. All right. We're definitely getting fuzzy on up in here. Yeah, that's for sure. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Well, so far, not bad for our second felting. Now this is going to be dry felted. I think the wet felting is a whole nother thing. Some kind of thread fiber there. That seems to be like a whole nother can of worms, and I don't think I want to get quite involved in the wet felting, at least not yet. Let's figure out the dry felting first before we even think about attempting the wet felting. But I'm pretty sure the wet felting is a whole ass other thing, and your project shrinks down from what I remember of the couple of videos that I had seen people fussing with in passing. You having fun, Ed? Please don't dump that in the water. Please. Because that ball has all kinds of ridges in it, and then it picks up all of the water. And I'm finding water all over the floor. But it sounds like he dumped it in the water anyway. Because it suddenly got quiet. He is a strange one. He doesn't normally drink water like a regular cat either. He sticks his foot in the water bowl and licks the water off of his foot. Not really sure why, but it seems to be an Ed thing. Peabut's way of telling me the water bowl is empty when I'm asleep is to stick both of his feet in the metal water bowl that the dogs use and dig in the bowl so that the metal clangs against the holder that we have it in, because it's raised up off the floor a tiny bit. And he will obsessively do that until I get up and fill it. I'm like, thank you, Peabut. You know there's another water bowl in the kitchen. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. He has to drink out of that one. And it has to be right that moment. Because Peabut's a dick. Pretty much. All right. So, definitely getting a little lumpy and bumpy, but that's okay. It's pretty normal. I mean, it wouldn't be that lumpy and bumpy if I didn't pull it off until the end, but the other one got a little out of shape when I waited to the end to do that, so. And since I only have one of these pads, if I want to work on something outside of stream time, I'm going to need to be able to pull it up periodically to switch them out. I think maybe last a little bit of this color in there. Okay, so let me grab the big guy. And we'll just make sure that we are good and tacked down. I have to remember to push down, pull up, and then move. so I'm not making a bigger mess of things. I don't want to rip everything out. Okay. So not terrible, but you know, it's just our background for now. I mean, there are some sections that don't feel like they're completely anchored yet, and that's fine. We can go back in and take care of that. It's kind of funny, this color's got like, it feels like different tones in it. When it went down, it looked like there was a couple different shades in there. All right. So let me roll up this guy so we can attempt to get it back into its home. There we go. You get back in your shadoodle. All right. So we also have, there's a little bit of yellow in there. So we've got a couple different shades of yellow, it looks like. It kind of looks like we have like a goldeny yellow. And then we've got like a bright like white yellow for our sun. I think we might soften it down just a little bit though. I think we'll go with those two, because like the one shade of yellow there kind of feels like a lemon yellow, and it feels like it doesn't really fit. So let's get this shade. Alright, so this is gonna be kinda chillin'. Got fibers everywhere. Alright, so this is kinda chilling at the base of our cloud section here. And we'll add a little bit more of this in a minute, because our big poofy clouds are probably gonna cover a lot of this section. And that's okay. Alright. So it's starting to take on some life here. Okay. got one little stray fiber that didn't want to cooperate. It didn't want to be part of the picture. For whatever reason. Alright. So it's starting to turn into something here, huh? I think so. Alright, let's cut another section of this off. Just gonna roll it a little bit, kind of like a snake. Just a little. Alright. Start to work in this guy. So it's probably not going to look very close to the photo, but we're at least using it to get our idea today. And no one ever said that you really had to follow that close to a reference photo, unless you're doing a commission, of course, and that's what the person wanted. That's something different. But under normal circumstances, loose errant fibers everywhere. Alright, you get down into here. Alright, and then we'll see where else we still want some yellow to come in here. I think we might take this out just a little bit further. I think I'm gonna snip this again. Just gonna roll it just a little bit, not too tight. Don't want to go too crazy too quickly. All right. There's like one stiff part of my felt pad that I keep hitting. I'm like, why isn't it going in there? Because it doesn't want to. Okay, so let's see, I have a little bit more over in here. So I don't want to cover up all of that salmony pink color. I still want some of that to poke through. Okay, I am going to grab the big guy here. I keep trying to like this big needle, but I prefer the small one. I know it takes longer. But I'm definitely liking the smaller guy here. Alright, and I think maybe we'll go a little bit more. Perhaps over in here. And don't forget to take a moment and step back and actually look at what you've got. And see where you're at. Because you might like it where it's at before you start adding more stuff to it. Alright, so let's see. Alright, that's not bad. I think we might add a little bit more. Sorry, I just saw one spot down in here that I want to fix up. I mean, it's probably not that big of a deal because we still have to do the tree trunks and all. And tree trunks will probably take care of that. Okay. I do have a little bit more of this that I cut off. We could... Sorry, I had a black fuzzy that was moving in where I didn't want it. Okay, maybe we'll do one last little bit on this. Alright. And we'll get this guy moved in. Alright, so I'm thinking we'll finish putting the sun in tonight. And then next week, we'll do our clouds in our tree. That sounds like a plan to me. Alright, let me fold up our color here. Work on shoving you back into your house here. Get all your little bits. Don't want to lose any. Alright, so since I'm not going to touch you today, you're our cloud color, or one of our cloud colors. Put you to the pile of unused stuff yet. Alright, so let's grab our sun color. It feels a little muted, but I think that's just because we don't have it against the other colors just yet. Alright, we might Well, no, there's not really a circle in there, so it might need to be a little bit smaller, actually. Alright, so where do we want the bright, bright yellow to start? Probably about here. Yeah, I think that was a good call against the other yellow. Yeah, that other lemon yellow wouldn't have looked right. Not at all. Alright, so that little bit in there. Alright, I'm trying to tread in here lightly with this color because I think a little's gonna be a lot. Oh, what are you? Like a burly cotton or wool? I guess wool. I mean, sometimes you will have like little fibers that didn't get dyed or whatever. Get out of there. Or it's little bits of grass. I don't know what it is. I know it wasn't the same color. That's all I know. But not a huge deal. I'm gonna just pop that out with a pair of tweezers. Alright. So we need to go a little bit more. Where did you come from? Alright. So finish getting this color put in here. It looks very different against the other colors, so you never know. Don't discount a color right away until you've seen it against the others. Because at first I was thinking, this might be a little too muted. But it's actually working pretty well. Off of our friends here. And yeah, I definitely want to work with this in small amounts because I don't want to overdo it. I just heard the husband say, "Oh shit." So I don't know what he just did. I don't hear him screaming, so I don't think he burnt himself. He's trying to make his hard candy. Though if he has to go out for more sugar, I'm gonna laugh my ass off. Alright. I thought he had figured out all of this previously, but he's also playing with his new toys, so there may be a new toy learning curve. That's possible. All right. Okay, so we've got that little bit in there. I think we need just a teeny bit more. Not a whole lot. Ah! Where'd it go? Helps if I don't drop it. I mean, that does help. Alright. And I did pick up a tiny black fiber. That's okay. Not the end of the world. We can just pluck that out of there. Alright. And I think we'll do last little bit of our lighter yellow. And put that in there. Wow. That wind kicked up. Holy shit. You could hear that coming. Wow. Alright, like there's not that, like, there's yellow, but I also don't want to, you know, hit it too hard. Afraid of overdoing the yellow. Alright, last bit of yellow. I mean it this time. I mean, we are going to have the cloud colors coming in, or the upper cloud colors coming in on top, so in theory a lot of this might get covered up. Alright. We have our own little weird picture going on the back. Okay. So that's going to be it for today because I need to go eat. I'm getting hungry. Next week we will finish up putting in our clouds and stuff and our trees, but I don't think that's too bad for a start. We still have a little ways to go. We're by no stretch of the imagination finished, but that's not bad. Remember, we're gonna cut off the outside square. So if you pretend that's not there, then you know, it's not looking too bad. I don't think so. Yeah. So thank you guys. Thanks for the raid sorts. Thanks for the new follows. I do appreciate it. Don't forget you now have access to your seasonal flamingos and George the aloe plant. Our next stream will be on Wednesday. We will be doing some WoW challenges Bloodthirsty challenge and Pacifist challenge leveling for World of Warcraft. Thursday, I don't know yet. Friday, we might be doing either Timberborn or Zoo. I don't know. We might be doing Timberborn and just taking a break from Zoo for right now. We might keep riding the beaver train for a little bit. At least, you know, get all of the buildings in one city before we move back to Zoo, perhaps. We'll see what this week brings, as long as there's not another update. We'll see. But thank you guys again for popping in. I really appreciate it. You guys have a great rest of your weekend. I hope you guys had a great Christmas. If you celebrate, happy Kwanzaa. That started today, if you celebrate that. And yeah, thanks again. Don't forget to follow all of the places. We've got the Twitter, the YouTube, both NiseyBGN. We've got the Kofi page where I've got a gallery of stuff posted. I still need to post the first terrible felting attempt with the mermaid, and I think we still have to post the mosaic tile that we did the other week up to the Kofi page. And then we have the Etsy store where we have some offerings that you can get as well, art-wise. And until next time, guys, have a great one.